The fourth edition of the Gum at the program, where Newsfirst creates a platform for the public to voice their concerns directly to the decision makers, is currently taking place in Hambegamuwa in Tanamalwila. Minister of Wildlife Vijay Soiza is participating in today's Gum at the program, for which a large number of people are present. Joining us now from Tanamalwila is Newsfirst Zulfiq Farzan. We apologize for that technical difficulty, and up next is Biz First. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka has decided to maintain its policy interest rate for this month. Accordingly, the repurchase rate of 7% and the reverse repurchase rate of 9% will remain in effect for this month as well.
The Central Bank of Sri Lanka last revised its policy interest rates in May. However, the CBSL took steps to ease monetary policy through steps including the capping of penal rates of interest and the reduction of the statutory reserve ratios of banks. Clarifying its reasons for not changing the policy rates, the CBSL said that although inflation has reduced and credit to the private sector has increased, vigilance should be exercised with regard to global economic trends. International Aviation Academy, the training arm of Sri Lankan Airlines, signed a memorandum of understanding with the University of Colombo today for the implementation of a program relating to travel and tourism. Under the new agreement, there will be a number of knowledge exchange programs with the University of Colombo. This step that was taken today will not only benefit the two institutions involved, but will greatly benefit the people of this country. Today, nearly 50% of those working in airline companies, especially in the Middle East, are Sri Lankans. The income level of these people will increase when they go to other countries if they have a degree or a certificate in hand.
Now, as mentioned earlier, the fourth edition of the Gum at the program, where Newsfirst creates a platform for the public to voice their concerns directly to the decision makers, is currently taking place in Hambegamuwa in Tanamalwila. Minister of Wildlife Vijay Soiza is participating in today's Gum at the program, for which a large number of people are present. Joining us from Tanamalwila is Newsfirst Zulfiq Farzan.
The fourth edition of the Newsfirst Gum at the program is currently underway in Tanamalwila. The topic discussed here is the threat of wild elephants faced by these villagers in Hambegamuwa and surrounding villages in Tanamalwila. The subject minister, Minister Vijay Soiza, is also present here along with several other officials representing various departments, including the Department of Irrigation and Wildlife. Zulfiq Farzan for Newsfirst, Tanamalwila.
2 days after the military stormed two pro-Morsi sit-ins in Cairo, Egypt, tensions in the volatile North African state are showing no signs of abating. At least 638 people have been killed in Wednesday's violence. Alexander Holmes reports.
Now, the official death toll does not include the hundreds of bodies lining the floor of a makeshift morgue in the Al-Iman Mosque, Nassau City. There is a dawn-to-dusk curfew in conjunction with a month-long state of emergency across the country. And the Brotherhood have called for more anti-government protests to start after Friday prayers, coining it a Friday of anger. A sit-in was reported in Nassau City, blocking roads, and a government building was stormed in Giza. State-run TV reported Morsi supporters attacking police stations, hospitals and schools, despite the month-long state of emergency put in place by the army-backed interim government. The Interior Ministry announced that the police would be using live ammunition to fend off any further attacks. 4 people died in clashes between Muslim Brotherhood members and residents yesterday, according to state TV. There were even reports of crowds gathering around police lines to chant slogans praising Egypt's army and police. US President Barack Obama condemned the violence used by Egypt's military-backed interim government. He went on to cancel a joint US-Egyptian military training exercise scheduled for next month, but he stopped short of cancelling the $1.3 billion military aid the US gives Egypt every year.
I now have Alex with me in the studio to tell us more about what's happening in the situation in Egypt. Alex, now what exactly is the situation in Egypt?
Well, today's protests have become violent quite quickly. There are at least 20 people confirmed dead, and it's spread right across Egypt. So there's been 4 dead in Ismailia. Of course, the army and the police force are now authorised to use live ammo. The demonstrations did begin with, they were peaceful, and supporters were urged to convene on the Ramses Square after Friday's prayers. But correspondents quickly heard barrage of automatic gunfire, so it really is a Friday of anger.
All right, now will this violence continue, and what, if any, are the political outcomes of the unrest?
Well, some analysts, or most analysts, say that the crackdown won't really change a thing. More violence and protests to come, I'm afraid. I mean, the protesters are highly committed to their causes and to their beliefs.
And Alex, just to interrupt you there, what we are showing right now to our viewers are in fact visuals from Egypt, and if you could elaborate more on that, please.
Well, as I said, it's quickly spiralled out of control, and the army will use whatever means necessary. That means live ammunition, no longer just tear gas or bird bullets. But if we go back to the political outcomes, perhaps, there are perhaps a few scenarios one could speculate. There is the roadmap that Minister of Defence, General Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, which would be, he would swear in an interim presidency and government, approving a constitution to a presidential and general elections. There would be a second sort of scenario where the military would take over completely and appoint a general themselves as president. But Muslim Brotherhood and anti-military movements say really this has kind of happened already. I mean, 14 ex-generals are governors. A third situation, which is highly unlikely, is that the Muslim Brotherhood followed General Sisi's roadmap, except that people took to the streets and said no more to the Muslim Brotherhood. But that's unlikely to happen, so we'll see a deadlock. The Muslim Brotherhood will rely on their supporters for protests around the country, and the military will head back to their security operations. They'll stick steadfastly to them. So really the future's quite uncertain.
All right, Alex, well, there you go. That's the latest from the volatile situation in Egypt. And up next, we have Sports First. Sri Lanka's Nadika Lakmali broke into the list of top 12 female javelin throwers in the world today when she qualified for the finals of the javelin throw event at the 14th IAAF World Athletics Championships in Moscow, Russia today.
Remarkably popular.
Nadika, who cleared a distance of 60.39 meters, was placed 12th out of 28 participants to earn a spot in the finals. Nadika is the first Sri Lankan athlete to have qualified for the finals at the World Athletic Championship after former Sri Lankan sprint queen Susantika Jayasinghe.
She's got closer, she likes that. Yes, that's over 60.
Nadika, who holds the national record of 60.64 meters in javelin throw, said that her aim in the finals is to better that achievement.
My coach is not present here, so it was a big challenge for me. The guidance of a coach is vital in a competition. I was aiming to qualify for the finals and I achieved it.
The finals of the javelin throw event is scheduled to take place on Sunday at 5:30 p.m. Sri Lankan time.
With Nadika Lakmali becoming one of the top world javelin throwers, Jamaican sprint king Usain Bolt qualified for the finals of the men's 200-meter final at the World Athletic Championships in Moscow, Russia, a short while ago. Bolt completed the race in a time of 20.12 seconds. Jobodabana of South Africa finished second in the race, while Isaiah Young of USA finished third.
And the big man has gone so hard, he's caught his teammate on the outside Livermore. Bolt in the middle now, looking through. On the outside, Adams.
Well, there you go. That's a look at your primetime news bulletin for today. Thanks a lot for joining us. Sam Shane Silva.
I'm Stephanie Lazarus. Have yourself a great weekend.
News First at 9.
Hotline 0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.